Hi everyone, this is Mason with Kentucky Hidden Wonders. Before we get to today's episode, we want to hear from you. Do you know someone who would make a great guest for Kentucky Hidden Wonders? Fill out the form online at visitshelbyky.com/podcast to nominate a guest. On to the show.
Welcome to Kentucky Hidden Wonders. I'm Jeanette Marson.
And I'm Mason Warren.
Together, we're uncovering the secrets, stories, and hidden gems of Shelby County, Kentucky.
From unforgettable places to off-the-beaten-path adventures, join us as we explore Kentucky treasures and Shelby County's best-kept secrets.
Today on our show, we have Master Distiller Joyce Nethery from Jeptha Creed Distillery here in Shelby County. Joyce, thanks so much for being with us. And before we start, go ahead and introduce yourself and tell the listeners a little bit about how you got started in this wonderful industry.
Well, cool. Thank you all so much for having me. This is an awesome experience here to be with you today.
Oh, thanks.
I am Joyce with Jeptha Creed, and I am the mother half of our mother-daughter ownership team and mother-daughter running of the distillery. So it's woman-owned, woman-run, pretty awesome that way. And the whole family is involved in what we're doing. So my husband is running the farm side of everything. And my son is helping us out here and there on different pieces. And he is actually technically an owner of the distillery too.
Oh, fantastic.
Yes. But we are still majority woman-owned and woman-run and all those.
We're going to stick
pieces.
with that. Woman-owned. Yeah.
Yes.
Mother-daughter team. Hardly anybody else in the U.S. does that.
Yeah. And we kind of came to the distilling from a very circuitous route. And the actual idea for doing the distillery was my husband's idea. And he grew up as a Shelby County dairy farmer. So his family has been running dairies up until very recently in the county for 3 generations. And they had the largest, dairy herd, largest producing dairy herd for a while here till, the feed bill started exceeding the revenue from the milk, and that just changed everything. But we kept the farm and the tractors and the corn planters and all of those pieces. And my husband thought that building a distillery would be a fabulous idea. And through another story, I eventually came to agree with him. And, so now when I tell that story, I have to say my husband was right. Building a distillery was a fabulous idea. And that's when we got started. And that was in January of 2013 that the whole family got on the same pattern, same wavelength about building a distillery. And so we're approaching... we started the distillery, actually opened it up to the public in 2016, November of 2016. So we're approaching, 9 years
that's fantastic.
Being open to the public now.
And you've got a science background, don't you?
Yes.
So talk a little bit about that, like what kind of science and how that works into the distilling.
Well, my degree is actually in chemical engineering. I have a master's degree in chemical engineering from University of Louisville Speed Scientific School. And my first job out of school was as a process engineer for a company called Roman Haas, which is now part of DuPont. And I was a process engineer in their distillation unit distilling methyl methacrylate. And methyl methacrylate is a founding monomer in lots of different plastics and plastics additives. If you go get some acrylic paint, there'll be some MMA in that. Acrylic fingernails, so there's some MMA in that. A lot of dental features, dental things have MMA in it. So what I've learned over time is if you are distilling MMA for plastic, or if you are distilling ethanol for bourbon, the principles and applications and techniques are all very, very similar.
Wow.
But bourbon is a lot more fun.
Oh, I'm
bourbon
sure.
is a lot more fun. Definitely.
Yeah. So that is my science, chemical engineering background. But then I branched out left engineering to become a high school chemistry and physics teacher.
Oh, that works into it too.
Actually, at Shelby County High School. So I was with the Rockets. I graduated from Shelby County High School as a Rocket, and I went back to teach at Shelby County High School as a Rocket. Taught for several years, and then left teaching to become a chief financial officer for my husband's company. And they're dealing with accounts payable and accounts receivable and depreciation schedules and taxes, all that fun stuff. And what I've learned there, you take those pieces combined with the engineering, with the teaching, because teaching is important and it's tough. And one of the biggest things I learned from my teaching stint is classroom management skills. And those classroom management skills come in really handy when you've got bachelor and bachelorette parties coming through the distillery.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, indeed.
I've got a mental picture.
I do too.
Of what that looks like.
Sometimes they're kind of on the same mental plane,
Right.
So that came in very, very handy also. And then all the business background with the chief financial officer's positions. So as I look at my career, I find it really serendipitous how all of those crazy moves I made all come together to be able to run the distillery.
Absolutely.
So it's very, very awesome.
So I know you said it was your husband's idea to start the distillery, but were you always going to be the master distiller, even though you have this background in chemical engineering and everything? Was that always the plan? Or?
No, it actually wasn't always the plan.
Okay.
Our thought when we first started is that, because we wanted this to be a multi-generational thing, and we built it for the kids, my daughter and my son,
right?
So that we could be building a legacy and they could use this for their careers in the future. So our thought when we started is that Autumn, my daughter, would actually be the master distiller. And at the time, she was underage, and we found no place in this country for her to go to school and learn the art and science of distilling, brewing and distilling adult beverages because she was underage. Thank goodness that is changing some. And now there are programs that are opening up where you can study, distilling while you're underage. You just can't taste anything.
Right.
Which is still a problem, but it's changing. Thank goodness.
Yeah.
So we sent her to Edinburgh, Scotland, where she studied at Harriet Watt University. And she learned lots of things while she was over there. One of the things she learned is that she does not like chemistry.
Oh, gotcha.
So that's kind
Good
of
place to figure it out.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah. Kind of a problem for master distiller.
Right.
So she came home and finished her degree in her true love and true passion, which is marketing and sales,
She does a good job.
which is hugely important for the whole business.
Oh, absolutely.
You cannot have a successful distillery without good marketing and sales.
Right.
So after that, I became master distiller.
Okay. All right.
Defaulted back to me.
Now, there is a wonderful story of how you came up with the name of Jeptha Creed, a little bit of the background. Can you tell our listeners how that all came about? What's the story behind it?
Well, like I mentioned, my husband grew up as a dairy farmer, and our dairy, we had a dairy of our own for a while also, but he grew up here in Shelby County, working on dairies here in Shelby County, and he purchased property when he was 18, and this was the start of our home farm. He purchased this property and started his own tobacco and dairy business. And that property is still where we live, and that's our home farm. So that home farm is at the foothills of the Jeptha Knobs. And we've expanded out, so now we actually have the Jeptha Knobs too. Well, not all of them, but we have a piece of the knobs.
Gotcha.
And those knobs were named by Squire Boone and Daniel Boone when they came in and explored Kentucky in the late 1700s. They were attracted to those hills because there was a salt lick up there. So that's where the buffalo and the deer and the turkey were. So I like to say it was the grocery store of their day.
Right. Definitely.
And we found documentation at the Fraser History Museum and in several different places. We found documentation that says they named him Jeptha after the biblical warrior in Judges 11. So we want to be all about our local history, heritage, and culture. My personal family history is right there. That's where I still live. It's where I raised my kids. I've got local and state history with the Boones, and then I've got Bible history connected to the name. So we think Jeptha is perfect. And then Creed is our promise to honor those values as we continue to grow and expand. So that's where we got Jeptha Creed.
I love the name.
Yeah,
I love
absolutely.
the story behind it too.
For sure.
Your husband now has moved from dairy to corn. Jeptha Creed uses a wonderful, unique corn. Can you talk a little bit about the ground to glass portion?
Sure.
Oh, she's brought.
I
she
brought
has
corn.
a visual.
Yes.
Folks that are listening, it is dark red. So tell us about this ruby red corn that you're showing.
Yeah, this beautiful red corn right here is called Bloody Butcher. It is non-GMO. It is open pollinated, and it has been documented in use since at least 1845. Yeah, so it's very, very old. And open pollinated means that each kernel on this cob is a seed. We save these seeds over the winter, plant them back the following spring, and get the same exact corn again.
Okay.
So this is very sustainable. It is the way our great-grandparents lived, and it makes us seed savers. So a lot of beautiful things connected to this corn, and it's red. And it has a beautiful, unique flavor profile that we just love.
Your product is wonderful.
Yeah. So the corn is kind of what we'll say the base ingredient for the bourbon. You make an excellent bourbon. And so how does that impact, the flavor or the flavoring impact of the corn? What is that on the bourbon?
Well, that's one of the things that we have found over time with the other expressions of corn that we've grown also and made bourbon with, and we can talk about more of those in a little bit. But we have found that the varietal of corn makes a flavor difference in the bourbon, a little bit like different varietals of grapes make different flavors in wines. So there's a little bit of that same connection going on. So the flavor, the flavor of the bourbon, some of it does get derived from the corn. And this Bloody Butcher corn, if you've tasted our product, you will notice that there's a beautiful robustness to the flavor of our bourbons, and that there is what I'm going to call some earthiness in the flavor of our bourbons. So you get some beautiful nuttiness, but also some leather and dark cherry notes and things along those lines. So beautiful earthy flavors going on. And a lot of that is derived from this Bloody Butcher corn.
Oh, very interesting.
Yes.
So you alluded to other products that you make. In addition to your fabulous bourbons, what else do you distill?
Well, we also distill vodka. And our vodka is distilled 100% from this Bloody Butcher corn. And we are also making some moonshines. And the vodka and moonshines we actually opened up to the public with back in 2016, because bourbon has this thing where it needs to age for several years before you can bring it out as a product. And vodka and moonshine don't require that aging process. So we started out with the vodka and the moonshine, and we are still producing the vodka and the moonshine. But now that we have our bourbon, the bourbon is our flagship.
Yeah.
It was always intended to be our flagship. And it is the product that we are really, bringing out to the rest of the country. So the vodka and moonshine really right now it's available in Kentucky, but specifically primarily at the distillery gift shop.
Okay.
Yeah. What we're taking out to the rest of the country, to our other states where we are distributed, are our bourbons.
Very good. Okay. A lot of times we'll run every now and again you run into a person that doesn't like bourbon, and we'll say, oh, but they make a great vodka and a moonshine, and they're like, oh, okay, I'm there.
Yes.
So I'm glad you've diversified your product for all people.
Yeah. So switching gears a little bit, and so Jeptha Creed has hosted a ton of different events and concerts and things over the years, and I have lots of great memories from those. But what's coming up? Do you have anything on the calendar that you can talk about?
Yes, we do. We have a concert coming up in June, and it's the opening of our summer concert series. It'll be a series of 3. And in June, we have the Bacon Brothers coming.
I'm very excited. I already have my tickets. I told my husband I canceled our vacation, and we're going to that instead.
Awesome. That is so exciting.
But talk a little. So I love Kevin Bacon. I follow him on social media, and I know that he and his brother sing. What kind of music though do they do? I'm not really. He'll sing on on his social media. It's him and his guitar, and he sings with his goats. So I'm sure he's not bringing goats.
I have seen his social media where he sings to the goats. That is pretty awesome.
And I have seen him and his brother. Well, I'll just say it will be a surprise, and I'm looking forward to it. And he's a big name.
To my knowledge, he's not bringing the goats, though.
No goats, people. No goats. But I'm excited about him.
It will still be fabulous.
Yeah. And I mean, he's a big name. That's a big name to bring to Shelby County.
We are super excited about it. It's going to be awesome. The ticket number is limited. We have limited that number so that we make sure we have a fabulous experience for everybody who comes. And we're super excited. It's going to be awesome.
So you bring a chair.
Yeah, you bring a chair with you. It is outside amphitheater style. And so you bring a chair and maybe if you want to, a blanket to lay on, something along that line. We will have food trucks there. Obviously, we will have our cocktails and bourbons available at the bar. And we will have a couple of beer tents out in the yard so that everyone has access to alcoholic and non-alcoholic drinks. It is family friendly, so you can bring the kids. Obviously, they can't have the alcohol, but
they can have
everyone is welcome.
Yeah.
And that's one of the fabulous things about our experiences with the concerts is that we can have 3 generations come and attend, and everybody have a great time. The grandparents, the family, the kids. Everybody can have a great time at the distillery. Well,
I think I bought my tickets. I saw one of your Facebook posts, and I bought them through that link. Mm-hmm. Is it through the website? Facebook? How can they?
Go to the Jeptha Creed website, and you can get to the tickets through that.
Okay, so that's June.
That's in June,
and then,
June 21st.
Okay, and then you said there's a couple more. Any names that you can mention?
Well, we're still working on the second one, so the date has not yet been totally pinned down. But the first weekend in October will be our Harvest Festival, and that one we have lined up a lot. We are through our red, white, and blue bourbon. Through that bourbon, we are giving a portion of the proceeds of each bottle of bourbon to a veterans organization. And this year, we are working with Creative Vets in Nashville. And Creative Vets works with a lot of warriors, soldiers, veterans, to express some of the stresses and things that they've had, the PTSDs, through writing songs and also painting paintings and several other different artistic things. And they will be bringing on the Harvest Festival the first weekend of October a lot of different veterans who have written songs and played music, and there'll be several different Creative Vets bands that will be playing that day. It'll be awesome.
Yeah, that'll be fun. The Harvest Festival is always fun. Has anyone gotten lost in the corn maze? Like if you had to send out like a search team for anyone there before?
We haven't actually had to send out a search team.
Okay.
We have had people hang out in there for quite a while.
Okay.
But everybody has made it out safely.
Okay, good.
Oh,
good.
I so badly want to do the corn maze. So you're doing it this year, right?
We do plan on doing it this year, yes.
Okay,
good.
I will be there. I will be there with somebody with me, my husband probably, just to make sure I get out safely.
Little tracker or something, just in case.
Oh my goodness. I'm excited about that. So tours and tastings.
Mm-hmm.
We are all about bringing people in, and they love the Kentucky Bourbon Trail, and talk about what people can experience tours and tastings wise when they come to Jeptha Creed.
Well, at Jeptha Creed, we've got several different experiences for them. So you come in, if you don't have a reservation or anything, we have a tasting experience that is free, that they can experience some of our bourbons. And we have a cocktail bar where you can come and just get a cocktail and hang out in our backyard. You can hang out in our gift shop. We have some tables and chairs, just hang out and enjoy that cocktail bar atmosphere. In addition to that, we have tours of the distillery. So you can schedule to see how we make our bourbon, experience and see our corn, and see that whole process. And there's a tasting associated with the tour of the distillery also. We also have experiences where you can come and do a cocktail class and learn to make a cocktail with our bourbons. And that's a whole lot of fun and a whole lot of shaking of the
Oh, that'd be wonderful.
of all those pieces. It's a lot of fun that way.
I can never get my piece unstuck, though. You know that.
Yeah, there's a special technique about hitting it on the side.
That needs to
shakes it, gets it loose. And we have a barrel tasting experience that you can schedule, and we will take you to the barrel barn where you can thief from the barrel and experience our bourbon at cask strength, straight from the barrel, surrounded by more bourbon. So it's a fabulous experience. And it's just hanging out in the yard in our rocking chairs. We've got cornhole, and it's just a fabulous place to come hang out. Anytime.
For those people that have never been to Jeptha Creed, all of those games and outdoor things and activities. I mean, you literally could spend an afternoon
absolutely
just relaxing, having a beverage of non-alcoholic, and just enjoying your time there.
Absolutely. In addition to that, we have our Creed Cafe. So we do have pizza that we make from scratch. And so it's not anything you just, buy frozen. We make it from scratch.
It's wonderful. I've had
it. It's really good. And we also have some other appetizers, some pretzel bites and
macaroni and cheese bites. Those are wonderful as well.
Several different appetizers. So you can have lunch also.
Yes. Everything is wonderful.
I know I've met people out there before just to get drinks and snacks and things like that. My parents both have. And so it's always a very, relaxed and welcoming environment. So that's always, it's nice. I appreciate that you can accommodate visitors who don't make a reservation. That there are some other distilleries in the state that they basically say, if you don't have a reservation, don't show up. And that's not really the welcoming, aspect that we're going for as a state. And so I have friends at other distilleries, and I tell them, you all need to do what Jeptha Creed does, where they have that tasting experience where they don't need reservations. And I'm like, well,
it does. When the tourist season gets into full gear, I would recommend, even for our free tasting experience, to have a reservation because we do during that time can fill up. Yeah. But even if it's filled up, you can still get a flight at the cocktail bar and taste. It's just you have to pay for it. But you can get a flight, you can get a cocktail, you can get lunch, you can have a fabulous experience, even if the tasting experience is all full. Yeah.
So there's a lot of wonderful things that you do at Jeptha Creed. What is one thing that you think sets you apart from other distilleries?
Our corn.
Absolutely. Well, yeah, definitely.
Absolutely. Being woman owned and woman run and all those pieces, that's really cool and awesome. And I'm humbled that people find that, a motivational thing for them. And that's wonderful. But the thing that truly makes us unique is our ground to glass concept, that we are growing this heirloom corn, that it's a unique, beautiful red varietal, Bloody Butcher, among other varietals of corn. And that we are very authentic and truly doing this ground to glass and saving the seed and planting them back. And that we are truly working that process all the way through. I think that ground to glass, that we are planting the seed, growing the corn, harvesting it, and going all the way through the process that way is what makes us truly unique. Because we just put out a 6-year aged weeded bourbon. Well, that took us 7 years to make. Because it takes a year to grow the corn.
Right.
So we have additional investment in our bourbon compared to all the other distilleries because of our ground to glass concept. So that is the piece that makes us truly unique.
Mason and I go to a lot of travel shows, and every time we meet another distillery, especially a craft distillery, they'll mention Jeptha Creed and what a great job you do. There's so many eyes on you watching what you do, and then wanting to do the same, or whatever you're doing is working.
Awesome.
Yeah, people are noticing.
So we've talked a lot about what you've done in the past and things like that, but what's next? What's coming up for Jeptha Creed? Any news you can tease or anything like that?
Well, we've been laying down a lot of different corn varietals of bourbon as we've been going along. And one of them is a pink varietal. So we have grown a pink Hopi corn and have laid some of that down. In addition to that, we have combined our Bloody Butcher red and our white to make pink, and distilled a pink bourbon that we will be releasing in October in 2026.
Okay. All right.
Probably. Hopefully.
Well, that sounds
I was going to say,
neat.
when you're saying pink, I was picturing like an October release tying the breast cancer awareness month and things like that.
Is that the tie-in?
That is the tie-in,
Okay.
yes.
That's what I was wondering as well. That's amazing.
That is the tie-in, yeah.
Okay.
So for breast cancer awareness, for sure. So that will be coming up in the future. This fall, we will also have our 4th release of our red, white, and blue. So that will be just absolutely awesome. And then, after that, we have other varietals of corn bourbons that we will be doing something with in the future. Possibly, we've laid down some of what I call my husband's Bruce's Blue corn bourbon, and we've laid that down. And could we have some special releases of Bruce's Blue coming out?
Okay.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Right.
Yeah.
Wonderful. It's good to know.
Yeah.
I'm especially interested in the pink and how each of the colors changes the flavor.
Yes.
And I'm excited to.
So the pink bourbon will be a unique, its own beautiful bourbon.
Oh, I'm excited. I'm very excited. How can people learn more or talk about what's your website and hours of operation? Just go into a little bit more on that.
Well, obviously you can go to our website, which is jepthacreed.com, and we got links to all kinds of information there. So our online store, all about us, and our hours. So we are open Thursday through Sunday to the public. Thursday through Saturday, we're open 11 to 6 p.m. And then on Sundays, we're open noon to 5. So you can come in and just experience everything we got going on.
Oh, that's fantastic. Now, you mentioned Sundays. Are you still doing the special Sunday?
We still have the giant
Bloody Mary?
The giant Bloody Mary, yes.
Okay.
And in addition to the giant Bloody Mary, we have an individual Bloody Mary that you can get with the all the different food pieces on it. So
I think I
So
have
if you don't
seen,
quite need a gallon of it.
Yeah.
if you don't have 6 people to come and hang out with you,
Right.
to get it,
Is it a gallon? Is it a gallon? It looked huge.
I think it's a half gallon, and it's
Okay.
designed to serve 4, but there's enough there that you could get more than 4.
It looked like chicken strips and all
Yeah.
kinds of egg rolls and all the things were coming
bit of
out of
everything.
it.
a lot of. There's a meal. There's a meal hanging on those.
For sure.
On
And
top of
that's
that,
and Sundays. What are your hours again for the
noon to 5.
noon to 5? Okay. Anything else you want to tell us about Jeptha Creed? Anything we haven't gone over or?
Well, we're very proud to be part of Shelby County. We are Shelby Countyans and have obviously built our distillery and invested in Shelby County. So we're very, very proud and happy to be here. And, being right there on the interstate, we kind of see ourselves as being an entryway into Shelby County. So we're very happy to be the opening for everybody.
Yeah, when we talk to people that have come on the highway, oh, you mean that beautiful red building? So they maybe haven't stopped, but they're thinking about it, and definitely the entryway.
I knew what we were talking about when we said it. So
Yes.
One last question before we wrap up. When we kind of look at the stats of people who are listening to this, we've got almost coast to coast, a few pockets here and there of states. Where can people find your bourbon? Which states are you distributed in?
We are distributed in, obviously, Kentucky, Indiana, Illinois, Missouri, Texas, Florida, Georgia, and Colorado. Also, this year, we are opening up and starting in Pennsylvania and Virginia.
Okay. Exciting.
And did I say Ohio? Ohio also.
You
okay.
might,
I
you
was gonna
might
say,
have.
if not, Ohio.
Yes, Ohio also.
All right.
Oh, that's fantastic. Well, you are each year that you're around, more and more people are hearing about you. No matter what city we're in, we say Jeptha Creed, and oh yeah, I've heard about that.
Yeah.
So definitely the word. You're not a hidden wonder. You're just a wonderful wonder.
Yes, we're just a wonder.
Yes.
You are just a wonder.
Absolutely.
But Joyce, thank you so much for being on the show with us. Thank you for telling us more about Jeptha Creed and all that you're doing and things that are coming up.
Well, thank you all for having me. I very much appreciate it. And thank you for everything that you're doing with Shelby County Tourism.
Well, thank you. So. This has been Kentucky Hidden Wonders. Thank you to Joyce Nethery for coming on the show to talk about Jeptha Creed Distillery, and thank you for listening. If you've made it this far, make sure you subscribe and leave us a review. It means the world to us. We'll return with a brand new episode of Kentucky Hidden Wonders in 2 weeks. Bye, everyone. Kentucky Hidden Wonders is a Shelby KY Tourism production. Your hosts are Jenna Marson and Mason Warren. To learn more about Shelby KY Tourism and to start planning a visit, head to visitshelbyky.com.